Go ahead and call the Budget Committee to order, please. We do have a set of minutes that needs to be approved.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And Aaron, turn it over to you.
I'm sorry I have to come to the front. I will point out again that they wisely chose not to give me a microphone at my seat.
We can make it.
A few things I want to point out to you. First off, in the summary financial statement, just if you will flip over to page 6. We look at the Ag Center. If you guys remember, the Ag Center was one of those places that we were particularly uncertain about with COVID. And so we have a good budget to actual comparison right there on the revenue side. And while you see things are coming in pretty strong, I mean, hotel motel tax is down, and we really scaled back the budgeted numbers here in the Ag Center. We scaled them back quite a bit. But you know, your other general service charges, which is your rental of the buildings out at the Ag Center, you're at 84% of what you budgeted for the year. You got your money in from the naming rights. We got 2 new things. They both applied, both the Ag and the Expo Center applied for CARES Act money for lost revenue from some events. So they picked up $47,815.90 for the Ag Center and $50,000 for the Expo. The Expo Center is actually, I hope I don't have these flipped, but I think the Expo Center is actually coming in a little bit ahead, rental fee of $257, and I could have that flipped, I hope not. We've only made $200. We budgeted potentially to have to transfer $431,000 over there to make ends meet. We've only had to make a $200,000 transfer early in the year, and the way things are trending, I doubt seriously we'll have to make the other $200,000 transfer. So congratulations to the Ag and Expo people for doing an outstanding job getting things going.
What are we supposed to be at right now, about 65%?
Yeah, we're at 65, 70% right now. So
Just a little bit more than.
yeah, you know, again, we scaled those budget numbers back quite a bit because we just didn't know. But they've done an outstanding job considering that basically for the months of pretty much July, August, and September, I pretty much, Quentin, you correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot we could do for about 3 months. So the next thing in there is your fund balance report. I'll leave that to you. On your revenue report, the one thing that I would point out that is of concern is, jumps out at me right on page 1, you're actually a little over $1 million down in property collections at the end of February. Now, we did extend the deadline for property taxes for a week, so we could see that come in. This could just be a lag, people having a little extra grace period on you know, making their property tax payments. But by the end of February, that's when I really start taking a hard look at property tax and how things are coming in. So we are a little bit behind there where we were last year. The really great thing is you're still, even with that, we did get the 2 over, I don't have these numbers paged. If you get to the end of the general fund, at the end of 101 revenues, you know, you're still up 4.4 million over year. We did get in on that very same page. You'll see COVID grant number 2, 2.132 million. That is the COVID grant that we've talked so much about that we were waiting to receive. We did receive that. If you look there at 121 special purpose tax fund, you're $1 million up in sales tax revenue. If you flip over, we already talked about the Ag Center and what a really good job they're doing, but that paints a better picture. You were at 1.62 million last year, year to date. You're at 1.496 million. So, I mean, they've done a really remarkable job. They really have. The road department you see there, I mean, obviously, I think the big difference there is we don't have the state aid program money in yet, so that's really the big difference there in that number. But this I found extremely interesting today as I was looking. On the next page, if you look at general debt service, a little over midway down the page, you'll see account number 40285, adequate facilities development tax. You have actually not only caught up to that bubble that was created by going from 3 to 5,000. Do you remember that rush of people that came in to pay the 3,000? You've not only caught up to it, now you've passed it. So everything from a revenue standpoint, with the exception of hotel motel tax and potentially being off a little bit in property tax, everything is really running at a very, very strong level. And that pretty much concludes my report, unless you have any questions for
Got a
me.
question? On the sales tax, that's the 4210, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're at 83%. I know the City 11 came in pretty high. What are you projecting us to be up on our sales tax this year?
I would think,
We're probably, what, 15%?
yeah, I would say, I wouldn't want to, I don't want to be held to it, but I would say 8 to 12, 8 to 12%.
We're almost right at 15% now.
Yeah.
Ahead of schedule.
I'm always going to lean on the conservative side when I'm projecting numbers. But yes, I mean, we're up considerably. There's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, improved internet sales tax collections and other things that I just simply can't explain. If you went to Lowe's or Home Depot during the height of the pandemic, when so many people were laid off work, et cetera, they were slammed. I talked to Ashley McAnulty at one point, just kind of asking him what was going on. And he said, well, apparently a lot of people who have time off work are taking this time to do home improvement projects. And they're doing, you know, even second mortgages and whatever else to do home improvement things. So some of these things I can't really fully explain, but yeah, we're doing quite well.
On the set, have we got February yet?
When you say, have we got February?
We got the numbers in from February?
Well, the numbers that you're looking at are February, but the February sales numbers, no, we won't get them for another month. The sales tax numbers, if that's what you're asking about.
I guess in January, how much were they up from last year?
I didn't do a direct month-to-month comparison yet, but I'll try to do that for you and get it to you.
Any other questions for Aaron?
Update on the FEMA money, Aaron? It's been a year.
I was thinking about that today, Commissioner Jones, and I've got a couple of contacts that I need to get a hold of and try to figure out what in the world is going on, quite honestly. They're not making contact with me. I had some contact. The last thing they asked me to do was to upload something in the system, which I did, and that's been 2 months ago. So I expect it most any time, but I will try to make contact with them, if not this week, first part of next, since it's already Thursday evening. But yeah, that needs to happen soon. Anything else?
Can you entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
You want me to stay here for budget amendments?
Yes, sir, please.
The first budget amendment you've got there is for the Ag Center. Quentin Smith, the director of the Ag Center, is here tonight. He is needing more money in his overtime and other salaries and wages lines. And actually, I need to correct this budget amendment. This was presented to me late in the day, and I didn't see that some of the money that's in 189 is actually, it's supposed to be 16,000 in 189 and 31,000 in the overtime line, which I think is 187. So I don't have a pen on me, but I will make that correction.
16,000 and 189, what was the other one?
31,000 and 187, which I believe is the overtime line. They've had a lot of overtime out there. We are using that 45,000 that they brought in on that COVID grant to help offset this. They've had a lot of overtime, both due to tornado cleanup and then other things that Quentin can speak with you about if you would like him to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
This is subject to the Ag Center management.
It is subject to, and in fact, we wrote that in there pending Ag Management Committee meeting.
Okay, with those changes, the bottom line didn't change though.
We did take 15,443,000 out of fund balance.
Okay, but the 61,022.
Oh, no, the bottom line stays the same, the 31, and, yeah,
Okay, we
yeah.
have a motion and a second to approve pending ag management approval. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
The next one is for the Expo Center. As you guys know, we entered into an agreement with Farm Bureau.
Motion to approve.
You already know.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's unanimous.
The next budget amendment is the amendment for the improvements to the Fred's building and also the appraisal cost for the old post office building.
You want to do exactly the appraisal cost on the post office, it was 2,800.
Okay?
What'd you say, Mayor?
2,800 on the appraisal cost for the post office. Be done in about 30 days, a little less now.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the amendment as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right.
I have a couple of amendments in here that are due to, we have courthouse employees and also Ag Center that is actually going to have 27 pay periods this year. So this is, in doing a budget to actual comparison and running it down, we have 27 pay periods in fiscal year 2021, so this is what we need to make that work in the Ag Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
That need to say Ag
Unanimous.
Center fund.
It does, I'll correct that. The next one is for the general fund for the courthouse employees. We had 900,000 in the budget in other contracted services for tornado cleanup. 700,000 of that was one of the very first budget amendments we gave back. If you look at your fund balance sheet, you'll see a positive 700,000 added back to your fund balance. We kept 200,000 in case we wound up with some more cleanup to do because we didn't know at that point if we were completely finished or not. So basically, I'm using that 168,000 to offset the 27th payroll cost for the courthouse employees and 81,000 out of fund balance.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the amendment request. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
The budget amendment for IT is being pulled and sent to finance, so we're pulling that one, is what I've been told.
Fine with me.
Okay? We had an employee transferred from WEMA over to tourism, and she brought, her longevity got paid out of veterans, obviously. So what we're doing is we're taking money out of WEMA's longevity line, moving it over to veterans to pay her longevity. And the remainder of it, let's see, we're adding 2,500 in revenue and adding it to other contracted services, money that they just need to get through the rest of the year. I'm sorry?
What lines are the 2,500 for?
The 2,500 is all going into other contracted services, and I don't remember exactly what they needed it for, William. I think they needed, I wish I remembered. They talked primarily to LeBron on this one and not me, and I have forgotten what she told me they needed it for.
So Aaron, she went from WEMA to veterans and now going from veterans to tourism?
No.
That's what you said.
Oh, my mistake. My mistake. She went to veterans, right.
Okay,
My bad.
tourism, yeah.
Tourism.
I heard
Who went to
tourism.
Tourism.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
My bad. Yes.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further comments or questions?
We need more people.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And the rest of them are the schools. If y'all want Michael to come up and talk about those.
While he's coming, this is the young man that took Mr. Hall's place, Michael Smith, Finance Director,
Yes.
Wilson County School System.
His, Commissioner, his title is actually CFO, I believe, isn't it?
Still a who?
CFO.
CFO.
They used my titles interchangeably. I don't know exactly what my exact title is. Sometimes they say I'm deputy director. Sometimes they say I'm CFO. I just show up to work.
Paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Never mind.
I know some of y'all were here earlier for the education committee. Do we have anybody new? Or do you want me to go over these again? Okay. Does everybody have a copy? I know sometimes the education committee, we didn't have a copy. Does everybody have a copy now that needs one?
Yes.
So the first one is going to be a 2021-06, and that is moving salaries around. We're not asking for any additional funding. We're just reclassing some salaries, and really it's for three positions. One is for my position, where we paid out sick leave and vacation leave for my predecessor, and then there's two other positions that were not paid per our board approved salary scale. So that's what the first one's is. Any questions on there?
Second.
Can we have a motion to approve? Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
All right, and the second one is kind of it includes no salaries, and that's why I broke them out into two. But essentially, that's a cleanup budget amendment, and we have some that we're reclassifying. There's one at the top for $100,000. We're reclassifying that for IRS purposes, so that we make sure we get W-2s and 1099s correct. Additional new expenses would be now that we're able to have graduation, we're including some graduation costs that we're pushing out to the schools from central office. And then we under budgeted several things like unemployment expense due to COVID. We've been hiring and people have leaving and coming back. So there's some small amounts on there for that. But again, we're not requesting any new funds. We're just utilizing some savings we've had in some of our other line items.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. And you said in education a while ago, part of it was to go to high schools for graduation?
Yes, right there in the middle of the page, on the breakdown on the second page for that budget amendment, you'll see an amount for $25,000. It's going to be in a Board of Education other charges line item, and we're taking that out of diesel fuel, and that's because we've saved money there due to no field trips this year at the first part of the year, and we give $5,000 per high school for graduation cost from central office.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
I think we got one question over here.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said it was for graduation, the graduation be held on the football fields?
That is my understanding. They're still planning to make sure, all COVID guidelines are in place. That is tentatively the school's plan is to hold it on the field, obviously weather permitting. I think previously, this would be before my time, they had talked about having it maybe at like Lipscomb at a college or something, but no, the plan at this time is to have them at the schools on the field.
I got a question on this, but any update on the insurance process with the two schools?
I will defer to Mr. Mike Jennings.
There is an update, I can't tell you what it is. And I'm being facetious about it, William. We've got a proposal out to the NFA, National Fire Adjustment now, and they met with the Travelers Insurance Company this morning to present it. And that's where it is. I've not heard back from them. I didn't expect to today, maybe tomorrow, but we did make a proposal from the meeting Monday night, and it was sent to them Tuesday morning.
Thank you.
And let me add to, we've been working diligently on that, and I think Mike can comment to this, but we've been delayed a little bit. We probably are a week or two behind because of the weather that week. The schools were closed for a week. So that is one thing that has delayed us since I've been there, and I've been there a month too. So I think a month as of last week. So
Let me say publicly here, because I've said it at the board meeting, to have a new, fresh set of eyes on what has been looked at for 9 months before I got involved, and then certainly before Michael got involved. But to have a new, fresh set of eyes on this thing has really helped. And we have made some progress. We don't have it resolved, but we're rapidly approaching a point where it's either going to be resolved or we're going to have to make a difficult decision.
I know it's out west, but I get several questions every week concerning when they're going to start on it. But I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, and I hope you didn't take that.
Oh, no, I understand.
But the press is calling tonight. They want to know why the board members won't tell them what I've told them not to discuss.
let me just say we are very mindful of I went by the schools the other day just so I could get a firsthand knowledge with me being new and walk through them, and we're very mindful of the look that they have still sitting there, and no work has been done, so we're very mindful of that.
I've heard several teachers, I know this is kind of outside of budget, but are really wanting to get into the schools whenever possible to kind of get some of their stuff that they've had for 15, 20 years.
We'll be communicating. We've talked about that internally. We'll be communicating with them. There's some safety issues there, but we'll be communicating with them when the time is appropriate to see if that's even a possibility. But I will say after walking there yesterday, it definitely would be a safety issue if you've seen them. So
As soon as we know something, I'll be glad to share it with everybody. But right now, it's that. Let me just be very, very upfront with you. When you deal for a public government agency against an insurance company, they can go into a private session and talk all day long and come out what they want. When you have to deal out, in the sunshine, you have to be very careful what you release, because frankly, we can meet on Monday night and they know Tuesday morning what we've done. They'll call me.
Right.
And
Just
so
really-
we have to be very careful with what we're doing. We're operating in the sunshine, but we can't just lay it out there in the open,
Mike,
numbers wise, let me put it that way.
Mike, we appreciate everything you're doing. I know that you kind of got thrown into it, so we appreciate the expedite.
This man's a big help.
For the new CFO, we appreciate it.
Any-
Whatever his title is.
Yeah.
Money man.
Is there any other business to discuss?
Motion adjourned?
Motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All right.